Welcome back to Sidemen Reacts. Today you have myself, Toby, alongside Josh and Simon, reacting to the most controversial movies of all time. Guys, what are you expecting to be in here, please?
Avatar.
Titanic.
Why do you hate Avatar so much,
It's
bro?
a fraud. It did well.
Avatar 2 coming out, isn't there?
It did well because it was the first 3D film that took off, right? And it's literally just stolen the storyline from Pocahontas. And everyone was like,
Avatar
wow.
a good film?
Everyone was like, wow, look at those people, they're blue. Stink.
They copied Alpha 65.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, I don't think that's going to be in there, but let's find out what is.
What do you think is going to be in there?
Shawshank Redemption.
Shawshank Redemption.
Here are a few films that will forever be associated with how much public pushback they received upon release.
Oh, Human Centipede.
I've never watched that, and I don't plan on it.
Last House on the Left. Nowadays, Wes Craven's name tends to conjure up images of Freddy Krueger or Ghostface from Scream. But years before Craven reshaped the horror genre, he started his directing career with a dark, dirty, uncomfortable movie called Last House on the Left. The 1972 movie follows a gang of psychos who brutally destroy two teenage girls, then seek refuge in a house that happens to belong to the parents of one of their victims.
Wait,
man.
they made a remake of this.
Doing a few of them, haven't there?
Didn't they make a remake of this called like Last House on the Left?
Last House on the Right.
No, they made a sequel to this.
Penultimate house on the left.
It wasn't that controversial if they made a second one, like a remake.
Maybe they took out the controversy.
When combined with an uneven tone that includes a bizarre sheriff, the movie got some seriously negative press. The British Board of Film Classification rejected the film and labeled Last House on the Left a video nasty, meaning that all copies of any VHS tapes within England were to be seized by the police.
video
The movie
nasty.
was only reclassified in 2008. Even one of the film's villains, actor Fred Lincoln, stated that he wished the film was banned internationally rather than just in the UK. This
I wanna
low-budget
watch
movie
it.
produced for under $90,000 quickly gained such an unsavory reputation that some conspiracy theorists debated whether it had been funded by the mob or adult filmmakers.
What the fuck?
That is what? That film has been seized by the police.
I mean, they've reclassified it now, but it's crazy that it even ever got to that stage, right?
Like, remember Manhunt, the PlayStation game that got banned, right?
No.
You don't remember Manhunt?
I don't.
No.
Do you not?
No.
There's a game called Manhunt that had the same thing, I think. I don't think it was like marked for police seizure, but it was more a case of like,
That is wild.
they just stopped making it anymore.
Is Manhunt 2 banned in the UK?
I take it back. It must have been pretty controversial.
The Last Temptation of Christ. Biblical adaptations are never more than a few inches away from the cliffs of controversy, but this movie stirred up a reaction like no other. At first, 1988's The Last Temptation of Christ doesn't sound like a movie that would cause such a ruckus. It pulled in an Academy Award nomination for Catholic director Martin Scorsese, with a script by Calvinist Paul Schrader. However, the movie's depiction of Jesus
Is
Christ
that the guy that plays Green Goblin?
I think he plays Jesus Christ.
No, shut up. Not this dude.
I don't know what that guy's name is.
Oh, I think it is. It looks like him anyway, if it's not.
Yeah, it looks bare like him.
The movie's depiction of Jesus Christ, as played by Willem Dafoe,
There you go.
Okay, that's his name. I was Googling it.
is quite unconventional. Dafoe's Jesus is weary, run down, and tormented by self-doubt over his impending sacrifice. And on the cross, the movie's Jesus experiences a sort of dream sequence wherein he's tempted to climb down, get married to Mary Magdalene, have kids, and live an ordinary life. Jesus overcomes his last temptation by accepting his role as God's son. But the film was condemned before it was even finished, with its production igniting campaigns, protests, and petitions. Evangelist Bill Bright publicly offered to pay off the studio in exchange for handing over all prints of the film. The film was so loathed that a Paris theater showing The Last Temptation of Christ was even set on fire, landing 13 people in the hospital. Not as bad as what happened to the film's Jesus, but still, pretty bad.
Right, so you're sat there saying like, oh, you know what? I disagree with this film. This shouldn't be done. So I'm gonna go burn it down and burn 13.
Try and
people.
burn 13 people, yeah. Makes sense.
Oh, here we go. Human Centipede.
This guy was tapped.
This is a weird fit. The
This
second one is
actor
even
is, this
weirder
actor
as
is
well.
so
He
tapped
looks
as well.
like, what's the name of that sluggy thing from Star Wars?
Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah. I don't know
Oh
if
my
you get
God.
the name. Oh my
This
God.
second one is so much weirder.
It's the guy's the weirdest guy.
We all remember back when the first Human Centipede came out, even if we wish we didn't. The story centered on a mad scientist's rather innovative idea of how to spread one supersized digestive system between 3 people. Understandably, the movie kicked up a flurry of controversy. However, upon its release, the actual Human Centipede movie turned out to be a surprisingly conventional B-horror movie, albeit one more gruesome than the norm. But that wasn't the case with the even more graphic sequel, The Human Centipede 2.
He's just got sunglasses now.
This movie features a fanboy of the original film being so inspired that he creates a homemade copycat centipede of his own, using staple guns, duct tape, and barbed wire. The BBFC argued that the grotesqueness of these sequences made it unfit for public consumption and effectively banned the movie in 2011. It met a similar fate with the censorship boards of Australia. Of course, the movie was followed with Human Centipede 3, a film that upped the violence even more.
A whole trilogy of human centipedes.
It's not a movie you thought would end up in a trilogy.
Yeah, like all three films get a trilogy. Human Centipede got one.
Song of the South. Almost everyone has heard Disney's famous Zippity-Doo-Dah melody because it's practically a symbol of the House of Mouse. But even if you know the Academy Award-winning song, you've probably never seen the movie it originally came from. That's because the film in question, titled Song of the South, has been locked away in Disney's Forbidden Vault for almost 3 decades. It's widely regarded as a racially insensitive movie that perpetuates Southern slave stereotypes, with black characters like Uncle Remus being portrayed as jolly, happy-go-lucky folk who cheerfully serve their white oppressors.
There it is. I was wondering what the controversy was. I was kind of waiting.
I think we all knew. I
saw kids' cartoons and I was like, okay, this is going to be one of the darkest ones, I reckon. Like, this is going to be a bad one.
I feel like a lot of like old kids' cartoons have like racist connotations in them.
Probably. It's Walt Disney.
You're not wrong.
Due to its infamy, Disney has tried to burrow the film out of the world's collective memory.
Whoops, sorry, Disney.
The primary residual traces that remain are that famous tune, and the strange fact that many of the characters have survived as part of the Splash Mountain ride.
That's where that song's from. It's ruined that song.
The Devils. Though The Devils engendered a massive controversial backlash when it first came out in 1971, the studio-driven hacking and slashing that the film went through caused it to mostly disappear off the radar until a recent cult revival. The Devils is loosely based on the true story of Urban Grandier, an unconventional Catholic priest who was burned at the stake under accusations of witchcraft in the 1600s. Russell's fusion of religious iconography with graphic imagery set off a volcano of anger with thundering protests.
Why is her neck like that? It's really dry.
I'm trying to work out.
It's really pissing me off. It makes me uncomfortable.
She needs an osteo.
Seriously, I've got a good one if you want one, you know.
Desperate to calm the reaction, the studio ordered countless cuts to the already expensive movie, slicing out so many key sequences that few people today have ever seen the original cut.
I heard they were promised it was going to be 90 minutes. It ended up only being 70.
You hate to see it when it happens.
Yeah, and everyone complained.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
They paid $18 for that.
Yeah, $18 for 90 minutes and he gets like 65, 70 minutes tops.
Yeah.
And like last 5 minutes just bloopers anyway.
Yeah.
Life of Brian. Monty Python might have been heralded for the Holy Grail, but their 1979 comedy Life of Brian was a different story altogether. The film is a satirical take on the life of Christ, introducing the world to Brian of Nazareth, a regular guy who happens to be born on Christmas.
That fringe was nuts.
Brian then ends up with the bad luck of being named as the Messiah and is eventually crucified by the Romans.
The little rascal has spirit? As what, sir? Spirit? Yes, he did, sir.
Playing the Jesus story for laughs stirred up a tornado of controversy. Theaters showing Life of Brian were picketed, the film was banned in Norway, and the whole enterprise was condemned by religious groups. The BBC even aired a television debate pitting 2 Monty Python members, John Cleese and Michael Palin, against the Bishop of Southwark and religious spokesman Malcolm Muggeridge. Despite all the controversy, Life of Brian ended up being an enormous box office success.
No! Off!
Yeah, just throw it out there. Good film.
You're gonna say that one, I didn't know that was even that controversial.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
I think anything that touches on like religion is always going to be.
Truth.
You right.
No, not truth, as in you're right.
Well, Simon, no Avatar.
No Titanic either.
I mean, wait, why would
Titanic be controversial?
I don't know. I just said Titanic, didn't I? That was the answer I said at the start of the video.
Hey, you need to shut up.
It's quite controversial that Rose didn't allow Jack to get on the fucking door.
That wouldn't have held 2 people's weight.
He would have.
I think it would have.
They did him fine. There was so much room on there and she didn't let him get on.
It was a very buoyant door.
And he froze.
What a bitch. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.